All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the special edition of New Earth Teachings Live today, which is Empathic Interfacing Live. So again, looks like we have a really good turnout from the chat room here. I'm happy you're all here. Before we begin today's event, just a reminder, there won't be any single request healing sessions through this broadcast today, but there will be next week, next Friday. This is a special event today with Empathic Interfacing Live, where we're going to be tapping in together to connect with Athena from the Delphi Inner Earth Civilization, and she'll be filling us in with any particular news that she may have. And of course, we'll have a Q&A with her, and we'll also later on have a Q&A with Adronis as well too. So it is basically a Q&A informative question presentation event today that will be taking place. So hello everybody on the chat. Good to see you all here. Thank you so much. Everything looks like it's running smoothly technical wise, so that's always good to see. So before we get started, we're just going to start off with a few announcements. First announcement is that we have the promo code offer today. So if you go to newearthteachings.com and you use the promo code, all capital letters, Athena20. Okay, that's Athena20. And you'll receive 20% off all sessions and products on newearthteachings.com. And the code is valid until the end of day of Monday, May 27th. So for today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the code will be valid. So again, when you just go to sessions, for example, you want to grab a 30-minute session with me, just click on the enter a promo code link there you see on the page, and then you'll see the all capital letters Athena20 with the green check mark there, and that will give you 20% off sessions. And of course, you can do this with multiple orders as well too. So there'll be 20% off the multiple orders as well. So again, 20% off, Athena20, all capital letters, good until Monday, May 27th at the end of the day. Okay, so go ahead and take advantage of that offer. Next, of course, we have the Mount Shasta Spirit Ambassador Retreat and Activation from August 16th to August 25th. And you can go to newearthteachings.com. You'll find the poster, this very poster, on the homepage, and just click on that poster, and that will take you to the link that is on empoweredlight.com. Again, this is co-hosted by Empowered Light Expo. We got quite a few people that are starting to sign up for the Mount Shasta Spirit Ambassador Retreat. So we're basically going to be short on spots. So if you guys want to grab this while it lasts, right, make sure you're checking it out, right? We're going to do some really incredible inner work on Mount Shasta. We're going to be doing a lot of hiking. We're going to be going to some lakes. We're going to be going to some parks. We're going to be going to waterfalls. We're going to be going to caves. We're going to experience a pyramid. And of course, you're going to learn how to become a spirit ambassador. You're going to learn how to connect right to the top of the ladder. Go right to spirit. Go right to God. And learning how you're going to connect and utilize spirit codes. We're also going to be doing group healings together. And we're also going to do a very large group healing upon Mount Shasta, utilizing the EQ method and the spirit light healing codes, going to be extracting as much of the dense energy out of Mount Shasta as possible and lifting all of that energy up into the heavenly realms, right? So we're actually going to experience a very powerful Mount Shasta healing that will be taking place there. So we're going to be clearing out, doing a lot of energy work, clearing out that entire mountain. Like I said, we have some beautiful sites that are going to be experienced by so many of us here in the group. And of course, you're going to receive channeled information from Adronis, we may even look into the Telosian collective as well too, the Lemurian collective as well too. It's going to be a really incredible week. And of course, it is a certification-based course for you to become a spirit ambassador during this incredible retreat at Mount Shasta. So again, it is the Mount Shasta Spirit Ambassador Retreat and Activation, August 16th to August 25th. For more info, go to newearthteachings.com and you can book. Again, just click on the poster on the homepage, and that'll take you to Empowered Light's event page. And you can look into more info there, and you can sign up and register for being a part of this incredible retreat. It's a once-in-a-lifetime retreat. I will not be doing these particular types of retreats often, pretty much just through Mount Shasta and, of course, through our next one, which is South Africa. Now, again, Cosmic Exploration Tour of South Africa with both Michael Tallinger and myself. Michael Tallinger is currently on a U.S. tour right now, so he is also promoting this tour. wherever he goes. But again, you just go to wonderworld.vacations. Just go to that website, wonderworld.vacations, and you'll see the South Africa tour with Michael Tallinger and myself. So again, the Anunnaki, Mankind, Giants in Gold, featuring Michael Tallinger and myself, Autumn Equinox Celebration at Adam's Calendar, the Kruger National Park Safari, and of course the Cape Town Tour extension with private sessions with myself. And again, just like at Mount Shasta, we're going to be doing a special type of group remote viewing. And this is going to allow us to connect deeply with Spirit, and we're actually going to remote view. Again, like in Mount Shasta, we're going to review Mount Shasta thousands of years ago through remote viewing. And of course, we're going to be looking at these sites in South Africa thousands of years ago through remote viewing as well, too. So I'll be working specifically with the groups, both in Mount Shasta and in South Africa, to help with bringing some, I guess you could say, inner clarity to them so that they can actually remote view this and actually look at these sites many thousands of years ago to see what they were like. And of course, seeing that with Mount Shasta, that too will be very, very amazing. So we have quite a few signups already for the Cosmic Exploration Tour of South Africa. So there still are some spots available. So again, another once-in-a-lifetime trip. This is the first time I'm going to South Africa. This is actually the first time I'm going to Mount Shasta. So I'm looking forward to both of them. And two of them are so close together, one in August and one in September. So I got some traveling to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. But again, I'd love to see you guys come along, and we're going to have a really amazing time, a once-in-a-lifetime experience at both of these beautiful places. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's event. So for all of you, if this is your very first time tuning into Empathic Interfacing Live, what I do to start things off is we just get ourselves into a grounded state of being, and then we're all going to be simultaneously connecting to Athena's energy. Now, Athena represents a member of the inner earth civilization known as the Delphi, because they exist just underneath Delphi, Greece. And again, this group was presented to me a couple of years ago. And it started off with an individual known as Nefertitis. But of course, he's kind of backed away right now. And of course, his sister has basically come forward and stepped up. And she is our liaison to the inner earth. And the reason I like to do this kind of mutual connection... Oh, thank you, Eleazar, for your donation. I appreciate that. I'm doing great. Thank you, Eleazar. I still have to try and remember how to pronounce your name right. I apologize for that. Eleazar, I think it is. Thank you so much for that donation. But anyways, the reason why I like all of us to connect with her is so that you are also receiving information with her at the same time. Now, basically, when she interacts with us, it is in the astral plane. And as she's in the astral plane, she's able to basically connect her body, her consciousness, to many of us that are able to connect with her energy. So you may actually start to talk to Athena at the same time I'm talking to her, and you may actually have a question for her. And again, of course, people who may not be able to connect with her in that way, well, that's why I'm here, and we can offer these particular questions to Athena. But she's very open. She's very happy to be here. I was actually just having a talk to her about the other day, just before coming back home to do more sessions, and I was talking to her, and she says, I really didn't know about 2037. I really didn't know about 2038. It's good that we have a date about that right now. So she was actually not aware relating to the idea of the shift, the harvest, the 3 days of darkness. She didn't really know the particular date. And so when I was talking to her about it, she's very aware of it now, of course. But at that time, no, she was not aware that 2037, 2038 would be that time. So she's very happy about that. So we'll definitely look into that a lot more. So let's go ahead and get ourselves started with the grounding technique firstly. So we're just going to do kind of an easier version of the grounding technique. In the past, I've talked about using the brown energy, and we can still do that if you guys want to. But all we're going to do is just keep our feet firmly placed on the floor, right? And just have a seat wherever you are, a couch, a chair, whatever is good. If you also want to sit cross-legged, you can also do that as well too. Half lotus, full lotus, full lotus, full lettuce. Did I say full lettuce? I think I did. This episode of New Earth Teachings Live is brought to you by Brad's Dyslexia, right? Okay. So, full lotus, and you can go ahead and do that as well too, and just anchoring yourself into the earth, utilizing again your connection to the base of the spine, the perineum as well too, and of course the feet, and just feeling your roots going deeply into the earth. So again, if you're just seated like this, having your feet firmly placed on the ground, and just imagine that there are roots coming out through your feet and just connecting very, very deeply into the earth. Okay, and just let yourself now close your eyes, and we're just going to start taking some deep breaths. So deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in again, deep breath out, and one more time, deep breath in, and deep breath out. And again, just feeling those roots deeply into the earth. And if you want to at this time, you can start to bring the brown energy up through your legs, connecting directly to your sacrum. And you can start mixing them together with the chakra centers, the root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra. And you can just feel your crown chakra now just unfolding like a fan, and just feeling this rainbow light energy coming out and just cascading down like a fountain, and just connecting down to the bottom of the feet and moving upwards, connecting to the perineum in between the genitals, and just feeling this toroidal field that is surrounding you now. It's just slowly starting to rotate, starting to get brighter and brighter and wider and wider as you relax yourself. Again, just take more deep cleansing breaths in and out. And now that we are fully grounded, we can now start to connect together with Athena's energy. So again, I'm just going to pull up the graphic here in case you guys want a visual reference. So again, just the woman here you see on the right is a close rendition to how Athena actually looks. She'll actually have a little bit more wider eyebrows, but again, it's a pretty good likeness. So if you want to see her in that particular way, that's usually how I see her as well. This is again is a good image template that you can use to connect with Athena's energy. Okay, so I just want you to visualize her in your mind now. So we're just going to close our eyes, and we're also going to be doing what's known as the entity challenge. So deep breath in, deep breath out. Feel like you're going underneath, deeper and deeper into Delphi, Greece. And you're now just feeling this white realm of light. And you're seeing Athena sitting in the center with her eyes closed, or you may see her with her eyes open. Either way is fine. And I'm just bidding her greetings right now. And I say, Athena, I am in pure loving vibration. I am in pure loving energy. Do you match the loving energy that I radiate here and now? Yes. Okay, I'm going to take a couple deep breaths in. Athena, I connect deeply to the golden energy of the Christ consciousness energy, to the Christ consciousness. Do you meet with me here in the Christ consciousness energy to which I emanate? Yes, she's nodding her head, yes. Okay, and a third tier now, moving up further. Athena, I connect to the pure consciousness of God, to the pure consciousness of the Creator. Unconditional love flowing through my energy, flowing through my entire being. Do you meet with me upon this plateau of unconditional love before God? She is smiling and says yes, she does. All right. So I'm just going to take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, and I'm now just establishing my empathic connection now with Athena and with all of you. Again, just doing it in your own unique way as well too. If you feel you're already connected to Athena and you already want to ask her questions and she's already answering questions for you as well too, and you want to share that on the chat, you're more than welcome to. This is all part of a group connection here today. And so, Athena, I'm just going to ask you relating to the idea of fourth density Earth. Now, it has been believed by many that where you exist right now would be in that sense of the fourth density Earth. Now, again, can you talk a little bit more about the inner Earth relating to the idea of fourth density? She's saying everything that relates to the fourth density inside this area of Earth where we reside is based upon intelligence, collective agreement, and utilizing technology of crystals. The crystals that exist within the inner Earth, the inner vaults of the planet, hold a very refined intelligence. They represent an energy of pure intelligence, and they radiate together with our energy that would exist in the fourth density. When our ancestors originally came to Earth, many, many millions of years ago, they existed within the fourth density. They were from another Earth. They traveled through time and came into the ancient times of this planet to settle within the Earth, as they are not fully compatible with the third density, at least not without being able to adjust their frequency appropriately to enter the third density domain for a certain amount of time. We exist within the inner dwellings of the Earth, where the crystals themselves are again our technology that we utilize that radiate and vibrate and basically spread their own energy fields into the environment to which we dwell. Therefore, as the inner Earth represents a fourth density catacomb, we will say, this is exactly how we are able to exist. Not all species that exist within the inner Earth are of the fourth density. If you were to look into, shall we say, the shallow areas of the inner crust mantle of the planet, this would all exist within the third density. It's when you're going much, much deeper. We would estimate approximately 40 to 50 miles beneath the surface, where the crystals, in that sense, have a refined intelligence, have their refined energy, to which they are accumulating a field, just like you are able to ground yourselves today, and being able to notice that toroidal field of your energy field. This is exactly how the crystals are. Much in regards to the surface-based crystals that once existed, that again flourished this crystalline fourth density energy, once existed upon this planet entirely. But because again of a great descent that took place, much of that field inverted into the deeper catacombs of the Earth, approximately 40 miles approximately deeper into the Earth. And so there are specific races that will exist approximately 3, 5, 7, or 10 miles beneath your surface that will have certain types of installations. These installations, again, exist within a third density vibration, where we exist as the Delphi, again, approximately 40 to 50 miles underneath your planet. We exist in the fourth density. And there are those in that sense that represent stewards of the earth. They themselves are incorporating their own time to assist in the facilitation of moving ourselves in from one density to another, but relating to the idea of a planet that again is in alignment to our frequency already, even at the level of the surface. And this is what you term as the fourth density harvest. This relates to the idea of the fourth density Earth, to which we will all be moving towards. When we refer to all members of the Delphi will be moving into fourth density Earth at the exact same time that humanity will. Okay, so it's quite a bit of information there from Athena. I'm just kind of reading out some of the comments here in the chat here. Neil says, my spirit guide told me that 2 people I previously knew were up in hell with the dark side. She warned me to change my ways. Well, that can be true in that way. Now, it depends, of course. There's a lot of suggestions with that idea. A lot of it does refer to lower astral realms as well too. And when they're basically saying up in hell, it doesn't always have to relate to the idea of the internal or interior of the earth. That again is much more shallow, that contains third density. There are some unpleasant entities, of course, that are in that area. Some of them have been reptilian, some of them have been greys as well too. But not every particular being that's in the shallow surface of the earth would quote unquote represent a dark side, because they too exist in the third density. The Sasquatch, for example, are actually in the shallow areas of the inner earth as well too. And of course, some of them are also in deep forests also. And of course, many of them are also in spirit as well. T. Ross says she's holding out her hands. Very good. Channel of Light says she is beautiful and open her arms to. That's good. A lot of people are seeing her opening her arms, and that's great. I'm just seeing her kind of in meditation like this, and then she's opening her eyes, and she's smiling at me, and she's greeting with me. So good. I'm glad to see that there's this open. Now, when she's basically opening her arms right now, she says, connect with me, right? So basically, when you feel her opening her arms like this, take her hands, right? So sit down with her, just right in front of her astral body. And if she's doing this, right, take my hands, feel your hands connecting with her, right? And you'll have that connection between you and her all together, right? So you'll feel a much more deeper bond. So I, again, am just kind of connecting into this white light astral realm with her. I'm seated down right in front of her. I'm kind of placing my hand upon her heart and hers upon mine as well, too. And that, of course, is another way that you can do this as well. She says, do not be afraid of the concept of hell. Even though there are those that go into such places, they are always redeemable, right? So that's a reminder that she's giving to all of us, right? We may feel that there are people in our lives that feel they're going through hell, that the way that they're acting, they may just be going right to hell with everything that they're doing or how they're behaving. But again, as Athena says, do not be afraid of that. Everybody, even in the greatest depths of hell, is redeemable. Right? The soul never dies. And at any time you can move up from that place and you can come back into the areas of heaven. That is always within your grasp. Okay? Here's one here from Brooke and Killian. I'll get to yours in a second. Brooke says, Athena says that they use crystals for healing. She said that she would assist in teaching us how to use them. Yes, she is a crystal expert. So absolutely. If that's something that you're very curious about, talk to her more about that, and she can connect with you about that. Killian Sage says, quick question for Athena. Will we be interacting physically with Delphi and inner Earth civilizations after the transition? I assume they will help us learn to connect with the planet. Thanks. Well, Athena is saying, we want to interact with you right now. We want to be able to come to many of you right now and start interacting with you. Now, it may not be physically, but what you're experiencing right now between us here is, again, a mental connection, an internal connection of yourselves. We are very much interested in having humans a part of our life because we're human as you are. But there needs to be, again, a lot of events that are taking place upon your planet first. Of course, everything needs to fulfill itself as it needs to based upon prophecy. Okay, and this is kind of what I was talking about with, of course, the fourth density harvest and, of course, 2037, is that this will represent the time of the ending of prophecy. The reason why everything is still up in a bit of a mix right now relating to events is because prophecies are being fulfilled. This is a time of prophecy. And it's a time of ending prophecy. And so prophecies need to be fulfilled, and they need to be brought into a state of conclusion. As that happens, then we start to move into new agreements. And the Delphi will very much be a part of the new Earth. Some of them may not actually even exist in the inner Earth. Some of them actually may come to the surface to help humanity out as well, too. But because we're at a time of prophecy right now, many of these prophecies need to be fulfilled, and they can't interfere with that because they're not part of that prophecy. So you could say that humanity on an earth level is working out these levels of prophecy, but on a spiritual level, we can certainly connect with these beings because, again, they are helping out behind the scenes. But because humanity has a karma relating to the prophecies that have been foretold many thousands of years by our ancestors, these prophecies need to be brought into fulfillment. And that, again, a lot of that prophecy represents the deterioration and the crumbling of the old and the rising of the new, the spreading of love, the spreading of compassion, and being able to get yourselves into that alignment to move into, again, the new earth that is to come. And that's what I'll talk to Athena right now about as well. And so, Athena, as we were talking yesterday, that you were not aware of the date of 2037. She says, no, I was not aware of that. But I can completely agree that that will be the time when this will shift. because she's also been talking to a lot of elders within the inner of the earth. And here's the kind of interesting thing: the Delphi aren't always kept into the loop about what is actually happening on a grander scale. They actually have to go deeper into the guardian races. You could say like the Argothan intelligence, deeply into the earth to be made aware of this. Right? For the longest time, they were not told when this time of the harvest would actually take place. And so she was quite amazed when she was talking to me yesterday, just telepathically as I was driving my car, actually. And she was really, really amazed. Saying, oh, 2037, okay, 2037, 2038. I said, yes, that makes sense. And she was really thrilled. She was very excited to hear that there is indeed a date right now. And she's actually been telling other members of the Delphi as well, too, telling her family as well, too. And they're all very excited. So they're kind of getting all happy and stirred up right now. And they're just saying, thank you for presenting this information. And again, they have confirmed it with the inner guardians, the Argothan intelligence existing in the interior of the earth. And so they too are very excited. Right now, there's been some type of leeway, and like it was believed that we would not know the date of when the inner Earth harvest would the Earth harvest to fourth density would happen. It was very much kept under wraps, and it would only be revealed at a certain time. To my knowledge, I am the only person that has actually been able to come out with this information and share it regarding 2037 and 2038. Now, again, there have been researchers that have come out as well too, talking about the ancient pyramids and looking at the Edgar Cayce readings and talking about 2038 as well too, and saying that that is indeed the end of the age of prophecy, right? And that's really where we are. We're at the end of an age of prophecy, and a new timeline will commence as we start 2038. And so the feeling is that the aspect of the quote-unquote 3 days of darkness will be happening at the very, very, very end of 2037. So probably around December 21st or something close to that idea. There's not an exact date of it, but basically probably around the last month of the year for 2037. Now, like I said, many of us that are bound to fourth density won't even experience the 3 days of darkness, okay? And yeah, Athena is confirming that as well too, saying there's a lot of you that are, again, heart-centered, that are on the path, that are walking this path right now. You have nothing to worry about at all, period. You are not going to experience that. The 3 days of darkness are for those that need to stay on the earth and have to be cleansed. It's like a great clearing that's taking place. Those who are already in the alignment, who do not require that clearing, will instantly go to the new earth. You do not need to concern yourselves about that. This will stay behind for the people that we could term are the most wretched, right? The most wretched people. The people in that sense who use people, who abuse people, who are heavily into negativity. They stay with what they create. They are the ones going through this very deep washing. The ones who have loving hearts, the ones who want to help others, who want to communicate and help and assist others in compassionate ways, you have nothing to worry about. You will not experience that, right? So this is why when I've looked at my own timeline, this is what I'm going to reveal to you guys, because some people have asked me, well, Brad, where do you see yourself in the time of 2037? Guys, I don't even experience the 3 days of darkness. I don't even see it, okay? And this is why I've kind of kept it secret. When I'm looking at my own timeline, I do not experience 3 days of darkness at all, okay? But again, Spirit is telling me that that is going to happen. But when I'm going through, it's kind of like I'm just waking up into a new earth. I've seen dreams of it as well, too. It's a lush, beautiful earth. There's no man-made structures on the fourth density earth at all, okay? All of your houses, all of the buildings, all the skyscrapers, all the ancient monuments, they're not there. The earth is completely lush and beautiful. It's filled with forest. It's filled with trees. It's filled with nature. There's no technology on fourth density earth at all. It will be completely indigenous living. Now, again, kind of like what Athena is saying is that you guys do not need to concern about the 3 days of darkness for those of you who have open hearts, right? For those of you who are very compassionate, want to assist the planet, want to help others out, you'll be able to transition directly there, all right? And I'm even asking Athena right now, Athena, do you see your people moving through the 3 days of darkness? She said it may be a possibility, but we won't experience it because, again, that's part of the surface. There will be a lot of what's happening in the interior of the earth that will be moving up but we really won't be here. So we do not see any particular form of distortion or disaster relating to our kind. Our kind will transport directly into the new earth once the quote-unquote dimensional doors are open to it. God decides when those doors open. It's up to God. It's not to anybody else. It's not up to angels. It's not up to dimensional beings or astral beings or anything of that nature. It's God's decision. God will open the doors. And when God opens the doors, we go inside, right? And that means people in the interior of the planet, people on the surface. When the doors are open, you will go there instantly. As soon as the doors open, we go there, right? So this is, again, why there is a harvest. This is why people are being collected off the planet. Now, I was also able to do a reading last night. I'm going to get back to Athena in a minute. But I was able to do a reading last night because there were some other questions relating to fourth density Earth. Some of them were my own. Some were what other people asked me. First question was, in that sense, do we know the amount of population that's going to move into fourth density Earth? I asked Spirit that, and Spirit said, yes, okay, we do know how many people are going to go there. And I asked, well, what is the amount? He said approximately over 500 million people on Earth will move into fourth density Earth. So 500 million people are basically already chosen, already selected, already known, and they will move into fourth density Earth. The rest will remain here. Like I said, it's not because they're going to go through disaster, but many people choose materialism. A lot of people don't want to leave their homes. They don't want to leave their jobs. They don't want to leave their possessions. And that's a very big thing, right? If you are so dominantly committed to keeping your home, you don't want to lose your home, you don't want to lose your car, you don't want to lose your bank account, you don't want to lose your money, you stay here, because none of that's going to exist in fourth density Earth. So it's being able to become completely flexible and letting go of everything and saying that right now, what I'm using with the computer is a tool. What I have here with a home is a tool. I'm able to set those tools down, right? And you want to be very, very loose. You want to just allow yourself to say, okay, this is physical reality. I'm just picking it up like a pen, and I can set it down just as easily. Great. You are now eligible to go into fourth density. Now, Adronis came through, and he basically said a bit of a greater approximation is about 560 million people. Okay, so he gave a little bit more of a deeper approximation. When I was basically dowsing with Spirit, it was, again, over 500 million. When Adronis came through, it was, again, over $560 million. Why did I say that? 560 million people. Yeah, $560 million, and you can go to fourth density Earth. Yeah. I don't think you can bribe that. Okay, somebody asked, Brad, do you have a fourth density body? We all have a fourth density body, all right? We all have different dimensional bodies in all different forms of realms, dimensions. Each and every single one of us do. Was I able to see my fourth density body? Not like in a mirror, but I could certainly feel that the body is there. I think more in time that the body will be there. What I do know is that it will look almost exactly like what we have here with our body right now. So this body here will look somewhat similar to the idea of the fourth density body. There may be some minute changes because we're operating in more of a silica enriched body altogether. And so who can say, right? I haven't really picked up a mirror and said, oh, this is what I look like in a fourth density body, right? But I'll get to that. I'll see if I can take a look at that and see what happens. So I'm just going to ask Athena right now as well, too. Athena, do you see how your people will go to fourth density Earth? Do you see exactly like you're going into the interior of the planet? She says there will be some that will be in the interior of the planet. There will be those much more upon the surface, though. We are very, very happy to share the surface with humanity. But there certainly will be possibilities of others going back into the interior of the planet. But we really want to work together with humanity so we don't really feel a need to have to go back into the fourth density Earth in the interior area of the planet. We have done that in that sense to keep at a distance so that humanity could fulfill their times of prophecy. But as their times of prophecy ends, it is now a new agreement. And we are very, very happy to forge a new agreement with you. So many of us will be working with the human race when you come into fourth density Earth. We will not be separate from each other. There's no more separation. God doesn't want that. And this is something she's very, very adamant is. God does not want that. She does not want us to be separate from you. The fairies are going to be available in fourth density Earth. The Fey realm is going to come through. They're going to want to work with you as well too. All of these beings that are volunteering to work together with humans are going to be on the surface. And she says, from what she is receiving as well too, she knew that the fourth density Earth would be, in that sense, completely barren of man-made technology. And she too is saying, you don't have to worry about this. You're going to have so much support, right? You're not going to be left out in the cold. You're not going to be left out alone. She's even saying, it's like what you said, Brad, about the heightened senses, right? You have to look at from where we exist in the interior of the Earth here in the third density Earth to where we exist in the fourth density pocket, we could say. We have very heightened psychic senses, and that you will have very much what we have. Our ability to connect with you in this way and interact with you in this way requires a great deal of psychic energy. But this is exactly how you're going to interact. Every single one of you on the planet are going to be very powerful with psychic energy. You're going to have an incredible amount of leeway about opening up into a new world that is so beautiful. And again, she's pointing to me again. It's like what you've said, Brad. It's like the idea that you are able to go in between different streams of realities. You're able to see these as precognition. But what's actually happening is you're stepping yourself astrally into that realm, and you're able to explore it. With a linear-based reality in third density, you're only getting small glimpses here and there. And it can be a lot more challenging to actually step into those premonitions to look more around because of the age of prophecy that you exist. So because you exist in the age of prophecy, you are limited. The age of prophecy represents linearity. When you move into fourth density, there will be no prophecies. Wow, that's a big one. That's a big thing that she's telling me right now. When we move into fourth density Earth, there will be no prophecies. Okay, so there will be no, ancient folks coming in and saying, oh, in several thousand years, this is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. There will be no more need of prophecies. Prophecies exist in a linear Earth. When you're going into a quasi-linear Earth like the one that we're going to in fourth density, prophecies don't exist because you're living as those premonitions. You're living as those prophecies together. It's all happening to you right now. But there will, of course, be time sequences. We will still experience, forms of days, etc. But again, as I've talked about, we're going sideways in time, right? So you'll see premonitions coming to you. You may say, oh, here's my best friend. He's living across the shore in that way. I can tune in to see what they're doing right now. I can actually walk in with my astro body, and I can actually start seeing, oh, he's building a house. Oh, very, very good. Well, he's just across the way. I think I'll go visit him in person, right? So you just had a prophecy relating to the idea about what he is doing, a precognition about what he's doing. You're able to step into his reality and being able to observe every bit about what you're doing. Like when I see this, I'm smiling. This is awesome. Guys, this is so fantastic. Third density Earth can't hold a candle to what you're going to experience in fourth density. It will be so exciting. It'll be so absolutely lucid, with us actually being able to go into visions and seeing other people. So if you say, for example, your best friend is, again, several miles away, and they're starting to build a house or whatever it is that they're doing, they're collecting food, you're able to think of that person and you see them kind of like just in a vision, like a tunnel vision. And you're able to take your astral body just with a thought and going over there, and you can actually choose to be invisible if you want, but they can probably sense your presence. But you're actually able to see everything of what they're doing, right? It's better than, our crappy digital age here, right? We're picking up a phone call and having to use a cell phone and calling people and a Skype video and all that, right? Like this is clunky dial-up garbage compared to what we can do in fourth density Earth. And thanks, guys, again for your donations. I really appreciate that. I'm noticing them, by the way. But again, this is something that's really, really powerful and amazing. And like I said, when we go into fourth density Earth, third density Earth can't hold a candle to what we are going to do in fourth density Earth. It's really going to be amazing. It's kind of like what Adronis was sharing with me as well too last night, because I was having a private conversation with him. He says, you're not going to be abandoned at all. You're going to have people supporting you everywhere. You're going to have extraterrestrials coming upon the planet. You're going to share the Earth with ETs. You're going to share the Earth with dimensional beings. You're going to share the Earth with inner Earth beings. Everybody will be one big family. Hybrids as well too. Hybrids are coming to fourth density Earth, okay, not third. They're coming to the fourth. So basically the Yael, right, Bashar's people, etc. They're all coming to the fourth density Earth. They're not coming to the third. Okay, the third are going to have their own particular forms of contact, but in different ways. The fourth density Earth are going to be those who come first, and the first will be the Yahyel, right? So the Yahyel will be the ones that will come, and even Athena's nodding her head, saying, yes, you're going to have contact with your hybrid children. Your hybrid children are going to be one of the first to come together with you. But again, you're going to meet all these other beings. At first, you'll think they're human, but as you start tapping into them, you'll see, oh my goodness, they're from the inner earth. These are inner earth beings. Here's the Delphi, right, and all of that. This is another question I have for Athena as well, too, about the Anshar, and she's kind of like sighing. Are they indeed a real inner earth civilization? She says they're not a civilization. They're a religious movement. It's like a religious movement inside the planet. There's no such civilization called the Anshar. There's no such thing. That's the name of a Sumerian god. And that just represents the idea of a certain religious organization, you could say. And some members of inner earth civilization go there, right? The one that you were referring to, who has talked about the Anshar, is distorted with the information that he has received. Okay, it's not an inner earth civilization. There's no such civilization called the Anshar. It's all, again, a religious organization. Nefertitis has talked about this as well, too. So there is no civilization called the Anshar. We have never met any race, any civilization inside the earth called the Anshar. They don't exist. It's just a religious organization. It's certain beings that worship the idea of a Sumerian god that relate to that. And some of them can actually be found on the surface as well, too. It's not just in the inner earth. But there are those in that sense that honor the aspect of that nature in regards to Sumerian teachings. Again, going back into a lot of the Arabic races and even some of the Caucasian races as well, too, of the inner earth, but they are not referred to as the Anshar. There's no such race called the Anshar. Okay, so that's something she's very much being adamant about as well, too. So as soon as I was asking her that question, she's like, yeah, the Anshar, right? So again, with the certain individual that was talking about it, it was basically under a lot of distorted information there. So that's just something that needs to be presented in a way, agenda-based information, okay? So I'm just going to go through any other questions here. Again, thank you guys very much for your donation from Patricia. Patricia says, I feel that this body won't be here in 2037, and I'll be born again onto the new earth. This makes me sad to have done so much learning and then have to start over, even if it's on a better earth. Well, here's the thing that's important. And here's the thing that Athena is saying, Patricia, you're not starting over again. You're not starting over again. Please don't get into that mentality. You're not starting from the beginning, right? You're taking all of your memories from what you have learned and you're making yourself into a new refined person. You will not forget everything that you have gone through. The deeds that you have done upon the third density earth will not be forgotten. You have been able to do all the deeds you've needed to do on this earth to transcend you into graduation upon an earth that will become much more beautiful than you can possibly imagine. Do not feel that you're sacrificing something relating to all of your efforts on this planet. You haven't sacrificed anything. You are growing. Think of it as when a child graduates from your school and they are now able to go through the highest level of their grade and they receive their diploma. They did not lose anything. They went through all of those experiences to reach such a high level of graduation that now they can go into a masterful university. It's because of the efforts that you've made here on this planet that has allowed you to be able to go into the new earth. This is not something that is a downfall. This is something that is the fruits of your teachings, the fruits of your realizations, the fruits of what you've been able to go through that will therefore transcend you across another bridge of reality, where you're now looking at an earth that is beautiful because of the fruits of your labor. Do not feel that this is an emptiness, right? Now, again, as I've talked about, because Athena is in agreement as well, too, from what I'm feeling, is that, yes, we will leave our third density body behind, right? Because it's not compatible. Look at it in this particular way. When a snake sheds its skin, and that skin is laying down on the ground, is that snake going to stand there or just slither along there and look at it for the next 25 days, 100 days, and just get so depressed that that skin is gone? No. It can't wait to get off that skin because it's a heavy thing that's been slowing it down. And now that skin is gone, and now that snake is able to slither around and go into a new earth, a new territory, a new beingness, right? That's the whole idea. Again, many of us have this romanticism in the idea of feeling that, oh, if I leave my third density body behind, I feel like I'm leaving something behind. Well, you are leaving something behind, right? That's the whole idea, but it's a graduation, right? It's, again, like I said, when you grow up, when Athena's utilizing that idea of grade graduation, you're not going to school anymore. You've grown up, you've matured. You don't need to go back to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, etc. You're able to move past that, and now you're able to go into a grand university. You guys have no idea how powerful, how beautiful, how magnificent it will be on a fourth density Earth. Even I have no idea. It's more magnificent, more beautiful than you can possibly imagine. It's like saying, do I want to be in a crummy alleyway and just live in this alleyway thinking that I need to, beg for change or anything of that nature? Or here's the gates to heaven, and here I am in heaven. Here I am speaking to God. Here I am talking to the angels. And here I am being able to look at paradise directly in front of me. What would I choose, right? So again, we're getting out of the scummy alleyway relating to the Earth, the third density Earth, because there will be those that will be left behind who will work to, again, start to improve the third density Earth grid once again. And there will eventually come another graduation point, another harvest point, where third density beings will start to move up to fourth density. This happens about every 12,000 years, okay? So that is always going to continue to happen. There will always be an end of cyclic harvest because humanity in the third density will start another age of prophecy, okay? There will be prophecies brought forward relating to them. Here's the thing about us as well, too, is we can actually choose to, again, through training, go into third density Earth and start helping other people there as well. Once we become trained, once we become disciplined, once we become stewards of the new Earth and stewards of the galaxy, because we're going to be a starbound civilization. We are not going to be working with nuts and bolts technology. We are not going to be working with such physical, clunking devices anymore. It is something that is so profound, so amazing. You're working with pure spiritual holography. You're going to work with the power of manifesting your thoughts. You're going to work at the power of working together as a community. There's no hidden agendas anymore. No one is here to screw you anymore, right? There's no such thing as classes, right? Of rankings, of people who are higher up and lower up, right? What do you have to miss, right? You're learning everything right now as a means of saying, this is what I don't prefer. And everything that I don't prefer, I can now go into the next Earth to notice that this is the results of everything that I know I don't prefer. And now I am where I prefer. You have nothing to be ashamed of relating to the idea of feeling that there needs to be a sadness through you, right? What many people are sad about is the feeling that we can't take who we feel we want to take with us, right? Because that's the feeling. You feel that you may be leaving people behind. Patricia and everybody else, you have to understand that you're a free will human being and that they are a free will human being. You cannot tie them up in a chair and say, hey, you have to be divine and you have to do this and all that. We're becoming a dictator to them, right? That's how you promote tyranny. Just like as if somebody was to tie us up in a chair and tell us all these things that they feel is glorious, but to them, we look at them and we think that they're a monster, right? That's how people will view you, even if you have the grandest vision that's the most beautiful. By you trying to tie them down to a chair and force them to look at this, you've become a monster in their eyes. You cannot teach people like that. That's a dictatorship. That's a tyranny. You have to respect the free will choices of everybody else around you. Those who know that this is the truth, they will feel it in their heart. You can't punch it into them, right? You can't try and educate and throw all these words at them and thinking that they're going to get this, right? You have to, again, have patience with everybody. Again, people who are not able to move up into fourth density Earth, it's not the end for them, because guess what? As soon as you go back into spirit, you start working there as well too. You start moving yourself up the spheres. You start going up to different dimensional planes because your work continues in the spirit world. It doesn't end by being in the living realms. The living realm is just a type of spirit world. So we are always learning. We're always developing ourselves. Don't feel that you can give up on a person because in the living realms, they haven't been able to get this. When they go into the spirit realms, they're able to get all of this education if they wish, and they can move up and up and up and up. Your work doesn't end when you transition. it continues. Okay? So it's not about the idea of looking so separately between the living world and the spirit world. They're just two sides of the same coin. And you learn a lot here and you learn a lot there. You're never without that state of learning. Okay? Athena's just saying, Brad, well said, well said. Okay. So I just want to kind of point that out with everybody. Okay? So now we're going to go into questions right now. Again, thank you so much, Athena, for being here. Love you a lot. Thank you so much. And again, I'm very happy you guys are able to connect with her as well too. Let me just kind of scroll up the chat here because I know I got a couple of donations here. I just want to make sure I got everybody's question here. Okay, Kimberly asks, greetings and blessings. I have hard wild card and key recently. Can you advise to self-activate the I am self here? I'm not too sure what you're asking, Kimberly. You have to kind of rephrase. I'm not too sure if I understand your question. I have heard wild card and key recently. Can you advise? I'm not too sure what you're asking, Kimberly. You have to restate. Okay. To self-activate the I am self here 24/7. Well, basically, to activate the I am self, that has to be your own journey, right? Nobody can do that for you. No person can do that for you altogether. Again, I'm not too sure what you mean by wild card and key, but if you truly want to activate the I am self, you have to understand that, again, we exist in a physical plane in a linear reality, right? And so for us to really be 24/7 into this is a very, very challenging thing. It's all based upon your level of dedication, your commitment, your ability to excel deeper into the understanding of the I am presence needs to come through you. It's not really an activation, it's a commitment through life. And that's what you have to do. Not everything that you guys experience or that we experience is based on activation. Okay? Activation can work in certain ways, but if you truly want to be in harmony with the quote-unquote I am presence, if you truly want to understand yourself as a soul, then you want to make as much commitment to that segue of living to the greatest way that you can. It's not a question about flicking a switch in you and saying, oh, okay, here we go. I understand the soul 24/7. It doesn't work that way, guys. Stop watching so much Matrix. Right? It's not the Matrix. It's not the Matrix Revolutions. It's not the Matrix Reloaded, right? Where you're just flicking a switch and all of a sudden I'm getting these downloads. Because it doesn't work that way. That has never happened to me, right? So everything that you receive, again, is a growth. It's something that continues to grow. It's something that continues to nurture within you. But if you truly are committed to the self, stop looking for an easy button, okay? Easy buttons are traps, okay? Be very, very careful, because here's the contradiction. Our ability to become spiritual beings really is simple, but because we have been raised in complexity, when I actually show you guys a technique, many of you are perplexed by that because you say, Brad, this is so simple. Because you're so used to complexity, but at the same time you want an easy button where all these things can basically happen. That's the greatest contradiction of ourselves, right? Everything relating to reality, relating to the universe, relating to our spiritual growth is in that sense a simple format. But because we've been raised so much in the state of complexity, we feel that anything relating to such an easement or simplicity to understanding the nature of our being is almost impossible. But at the same time, we want an easy button to feel like it can be possible. That doesn't make sense. It's such a contradiction to ourselves. So you just have to make a decision. If you want to say that, life truly is simple, and I'm going to start living off in simple ways, and I'm going to start doing simple things because that is my avenue in growing myself spiritually, then make that your decision. Make that a commitment, a decision that you make that is so profound, and you dedicate yourself to that decision of simplicity rather than living in a world of complexity, because you dictate what you feel the world is. Okay? So nobody can prove you wrong with that idea. These are all based upon your own concepts and understandings. Okay? All right. Let's see here. Okay, here's one here from Delta Dog. Brad, can you explain how higher densities are oneness, both sexes, but the gender confusion seems lower density? What is the elite's agenda on Earth regarding that? Okay, well, there's two questions here. So the first question, again, representing the idea of oneness. Well, this is basically what we would refer to as an oversoul. Okay? Do you guys know how an oversoul was formed? The divine masculine, the divine feminine, the two souls becoming one, or basically two half souls becoming one. We refer to this as an oversoul. You can also refer to it as a unified soul as well too. When the divine masculine and divine feminine versions of yourself become one, so yourself and your soul partner become one, and you merge in that particular way, you enter a dimension of reality where you can manifest an infinite amount of bodies, where you can actually start creating projections, and you can go to different dimensions, you can go to different planets, permission pending in that particular way, of course, but you can start creating all of these bodies, and you yourselves as the divine masculine and divine feminine whole, as an oversoul, stay exactly where you are, and it's like you're just projecting all of these different bodies onto different planets, and you're able to experience all of these lives because all of these memories come feeding back to you, and so they become that state of wholeness, and you become extremely powerful in that state. You may actually become a lot more powerful than the angels in heaven, because the angels in heaven don't really have that idea. They don't have that connection of bonding with the sacred masculine and sacred feminine. The angels in heaven actually don't even really have relationships. They're more so, quote unquote, celibate, right? They don't actually engage in sexual aspect because they've committed themselves to God. They're servants of God, and they're very powerful in that way. But when you actually have the union, and this is actually what God recommends, some of the angels won't do it because some of them can be, quote unquote, uptight. But when you actually have a sacred union between yourself and your partner, you unify and you become an oversoul. Okay, that's what a true oversoul is. It's a unified couple that becomes a pure soul. So a pure soul is the aspect of an oversoul. And now they start projecting all these bodies into all these different dimensions to get more experiences without having to feel like they need to incarnate themselves. So that's the nature of the oversoul. Now, some of the angels may have good connections with the oversouls, some don't, because they don't feel like that should be the way it should be done, but nonetheless, that's how it happens. So again, a lot of angels, like I said, are much more celibate. They want to completely devote themselves, dedicate themselves to God. They have no interest in bonding with their partners. If they wanted to, they certainly could. But when you're looking into the higher archangels, again, they follow, again, that pure connection to God. But this is why humanity has more of a difference. This is why humanity is the most powerful race there is, the most powerful beings there is, and the only thing more powerful than humanity is God. Well, what am I saying? Guys, I'm telling you, you can be more powerful than all of the angels in heaven, because you are able to unify yourselves with your sacred other, with your soul partner. No other race, not even the angels, can do that. Okay? This is, again, a gift that God has given us, right? Is looking at ourselves as a portion of our soul, a masculine, and another portion of our soul, a feminine, and when they come together and they merge and they unify and they connect in that way out of pure love, out of pure bondage, out of pure oneness, you're, basically a near God yourself. But you're, again, always going to be under God. But you have this God-like energy of yourself where you're able to manifest all these bodies. You can manifest as many as you want. There's no limit. You have this incredible intelligence. You're like pure mind. You're pure soul. So that is what I can share relating to that particular question. What is the elite's agenda on Earth regarding that? To separate everybody. To engage in sexuality, to engage in lust, to basically feel that everything needs to be physicalized, to basically separate you from any particular concept of feeling a soul union, right? It's basically to keep you within base lust and craving for sex and craving for lustful contact and all that, without the feeling that you're actually able to go into soul union, right? So that, again, has been a very big agenda. We're seeing that quite obviously with many of the systems that exist on the planet, okay? So thank you very much, Delta Dog, for that. Okay, guys, we are running out of time. I'm just going to scroll down the bottom here to see if there's any other last question. Again, I'm sending love to Athena. Thank you so much for being here today. It's hard to say because you guys have such good questions as well, too. But again, if you guys are already connected to Athena, continue to talk to her as well, even when we go off the air today, okay? John Luke Awaken Neil says, yes, we want it easy button, but then we don't believe it when things are too easy. So true. Exactly, right? You got it. That's always been my big confusion, even with myself as well, too, because I've grown up in complexity. And then I'm noticing, why do I want easy buttons? Like, I've been growing so much in complexity. I'm going to start focusing on simplicity rather than feeling that I want an easy button, because it doesn't make sense. There's no rational means. There's no rational logic between the idea of us being so complex and wanting a red easy button. It makes no sense. It's completely contradictory to ourselves, right? Okay, we're going to end with this question here with let go. It's a good name as well, too, for the question. How do I kindly ask my ego to let go? It got triggered big time along with several core issues I didn't even know I had. Is this extreme resistance because it's so used to being in control? Now, this is, again, why I want to end on this question, because there's a lot of people that come to me with this question and saying, Brad, how do I let the ego let go? How do I kindly ask my ego to let go? You don't. That's the problem. Because here's the thing, when you notice your ego's on a rampage and it's rampant and it's barking at you and it's, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do that. Okay, I'm just gonna take a deep breath, I'm gonna scrunch the ego up and I'm gonna let it go. Guess what happens? Like a boomerang, comes back again. You cannot solve problems at the same level that they're created. When you are dealing with a very, very inflated ego, you are again trying to resolve it at its base level. You can't, because you're just throwing kerosene on the fire. A big tank of gasoline is being dumped on this inferno, and now it's becoming a super raging inferno. You cannot resolve your ego at the same level that the ego itself functions as. So, what do? You start doing a video that I'm going to be doing here very soon as well too, is a new video called the BCR technique. Okay, it's called Breathwork, Calmness, Reinforcement. So I'm going to give you guys a bit of a sneak preview with that right now. Okay, when your ego is barking at you like this, blah, 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 okay, withdraw yourself. If you're in front of any people, just say, excuse me, I got to withdraw myself for a minute. Okay, come into a space that you again can be in, your own private space. Your own private space, dyslexia, right? Your own private space, and just start taking some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Okay, so, and keep doing that 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, 50 times, 100 times, until you are completely calm. Once you are completely calm and you're centered, now you can anchor yourself into the earth, right? Roots into the earth. Pull up the brown energy if you like as well too. And now you are moving into a state of reinforcement, positive reinforcement. So now while you're in your space and you're calm and you're centered and you're anchored to the earth and you're feeling relaxed and centered, you now see your perfect space. As you see your perfect space, you're creating just a simple, joyful feeling. What would make me really smile right now? I see these little flocks of birds flying around, and 2 are perching on my shoulder, and they're singing to me this really beautiful song, and it instantly makes me smile. Boom. Instant, joyful feeling created. Okay? Now we start focusing on that little spark, and we make so much joy out of that joyful feeling even further, and we amplify it, we expand it, we grow it twice as big, and now we're feeling a lot of love, a lot of beauty right now. This feels wonderful. Good, make it 3 times bigger. Oh my goodness, I feel almost orgasmic right now. It feels great, right? I feel all this pure love flowing through me. And now we make it 5 times bigger. Oh my goodness, I'm blissed out. I'm tripping balls with bliss right now, right? We make ourselves laugh, we make ourselves feel good, and we just feel this incredible amount of love flowing through us. Now we take that big ball of love, we compress it into a nice fine ball, and we put it into the center of our chest. And we say to the love, love, completely decontaminate my ego with all lack. Put love to where there is lack. Let it be so. Okay? And now that love energy starts going to work and starts clearing out the ego. Now you notice that when you're trying to tune back to the ego again, it's not so rampant. It's just calmed itself down because the love energy is now going to work on the ego and it's clearing away all of these patterns. So what is the idea here of this technique? Is to let you replace everything pertaining to lack, insecurity, traumas, right? Rejection, abandonment, abuse, and having it completely become clean with all the love energy that you're putting into yourself, right? So love flows in, it clears out all of those nagging aspects relating to the ego, right? So again, what is being said here, guys, is you cannot meet your own ego by feeling that you can resolve it by butting heads with it at a base level vibration. Can't be done. You will pull your hair out trying to do that. You can't do it. So you raise your frequency. You go up into love vibration. Love vibration is now so strong with you. You now start to collect all of this love energy and you rain it down upon the ego until it starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and now it's completely out of sight because you've been able to resolve it. Okay? You do this every single day. You do this multiple times per day. You put so much love energy towards the ego that it shrinks down smaller and smaller and smaller until you can't even notice it. When you replace all of that aspect of ego hurt, of ego desires, of ego nagging, whatever it may be, and you're replacing it with love, you become a shining star. Okay? I tell you this, guys, because this is the work I've done through the EQ method that has really sharpened myself, clearing away a lot of the dark pockets relating to lack that the ego itself dwells in. You want to clear as many of those pockets out of your life as possible. This affects you emotionally. This affects you mentally. This affects you physically. The more that you're putting love energy into your body, the more that you're completely clearing up diseases. You will clear up disorders. You will clear up chronic issues. All of these things that have basically been making you impaired has come from heavy emotional neglect, heavy emotional lack in its greatest degree. That's what makes us sick. That's what gives us a poor immune system so that our body can't fight this off. That's what gives us a poor liver, a liver that is heavily compromised because of the emotional lack. Emotion causes all lack in the body, ever. The physical body is, again, just the layer that's letting you know on a physical level about how the mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies right now within yourself are currently feeling. And they are in decay. And so as they're in decay, your body will respond in kind to that feeling of decay. So when you start making your mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies healthy again, the physical body will get healthy. It'll feel miraculous because you're putting so much love energy. You're smiling, you're feeling joyful, you're singing a song, you're dancing, you're doing whatever you can to bring as much love energy into yourself and putting it into your body. Love is a cure-all, okay? And I will underline that 1,000,000 times. People wonder what the cure-all is here in life. It's love. That's it. It's not just celery juice, right? It's not just heavy metal detox smoothies. It's not just about healthy eating. It's not just about veganism. It's not about all of that stuff. That helps to a certain degree. But if you really want to completely improve your body, it comes through love, putting as much love into your body as possible on a daily basis. That's what's going to clear all this up, okay? Thank you so much again, everybody, for tuning in today. I'm just going to send my love and appreciation to Athena. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And I will talk to you again. Okay. So she's bowing out now. Okay, guys. So like I said, go back to this recording, and anytime you want to connect with Athena, just do the same exercise that we did at the beginning of the broadcast to connect with her again. She's very open to all of you. You can connect with her anytime. She loves to connect with everybody. So connect with her as much and as often as you want. Okay? So just before we wrap up, again, the promo offer is available on New Earth Teachings. Use the promo code Athena20 and receive 20% off all sessions and products on newearthteachings.com. The code is valid until the end of day on Monday, May 27th. This also supports multiple purchases as well, too. So again, if you have a couple sessions, a couple products, the 20% will apply to all of them, okay? So capital letters, Athena20, put that in the enter promo code box that you see here. You see that little green tick. That's, again, confirming that the promo code is valid, and it will give you that discount, all right? So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me for this Friday. Next Friday, I'll be back, again, with New Earth Teachings Live, and we'll be doing some Q&A and some single request healing sessions as well, too. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you are in the world, and may the essence of the Creator be with you all. Take care. Namaste.